Hey, what's up everyone, welcome back to Screen Technicals. In the previous video we have seen how to add Tailwind CSS to our next step, and in this video we are going to build the front-end part of our website. So let's get started. So at this point I'm going to, you can say, remove this thing, right, and save this much of thing. I'm going to create a component section inside my main folder, that is this block. So I'm going to create a new folder, naming it as components, like this. Hit enter, and inside this I'm going to create a new file and naming it as navbar.jsx, right, and writing here rafce. Hit enter, save this much of thing, open the pages folder, go to the _app.js and just cut this part. I'm going to use, you can say, parenthesis, and I'm going to create a div at this point. Okay, so I have to change this to React. Okay, this to React. Hit enter, and right, I'm going to create a div. By the way, let me tell you, you can just install, you can say, you install two extensions. One is Tailwind CSS. Let it open. You can say just install this one, and another thing is that is React, something just like this. Just search for React, and you're going to find this ES7 plus React plus Redux. Not Redux, sorry, Redux, React Native, everything. You can install this extension. Now at this point I'm going to you can say link my navigation bar. So I'm going to write here navbar, this navbar, just like this, and paste this thing at this one. Now save this much of thing. Now just go to the website and just refresh it, and I think we have to run the server. Yeah, so right here clear yarn dev, hit enter, and let's see, refresh it, and you're going to find this navbar at this point. So let's create the navigation bar. So for that I'm just, you can say, I can just make it a side by side, just like this, and I can close this thing, so it will be helpful for me as well and for you as well, right? Now close this _app.js, come to this part, remove this, give it a class of w-full, and then h of, let's say, no h, I need some padding, so right here py, so I want py dash of 5, and let's say px of 20, and then I want it to be flex, and I can make it as justify between, and then I want items center, just like this. And then inside this I'm just going to give it, I can say, a background color even. So bg dash, I want the color to be, let's say, hashtag, just give it just like this and hover over this, and I want some purple color. See this much of thing. Okay, this looks okay. Save this. Yeah, this looks great. You know, I am a big fan of purple, but my favorite color is red, right? So yeah, inside this I'm going to create, you can say, another div, and inside this div I can write my brand name. So if you are coming from normal JSX, or you can say normal HTML, then you know about, you know, link tags. We use anchor text for, you know, for our creating the links, but we are going to use something else. We are going to use the link that is provided by, you know, Next.js. So I just import, at this point I'm going to import, okay, import link from next/link, just like this. Save this much of thing, and obviously we are going to get an error, so we have to define the href. So it will be slash, hit enter, simply anchor tag, remove this href from the anchor tag, and here I'm going to write, let's say we are creating a blog, so I'm writing here simply blog. You can just give the name of your blog, right, and let me just give it a class of text dash white, it is white. Save. I can give it a font dash, let's say I want font of 800, right, and I can give it a text dash 3XL, so it will look just like this, right, and it looks pretty much clean. and if I click on this, it will just refresh the page, nothing will happen, and you can see the page do not reload because of the link text. So this helps us to redirect from one page to another without refreshing the page, right? So this is the power of actually the next link, right? Now I'm going to create another div at this point, and here I'm going to okay, so at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a button, right? So I'm going to write here button, and I'm going to write here, let's say, sign in, just like this. Okay, and let me just give it a class, and let's say class of text dash excel. Oh, not excel, make it a simple. Okay, it looks great. I don't have to give any type of text excel, I hope so. So I'll give it a text dash white, save it. Okay, and not white, let's say I'm going to give it a text of this color. I'm just going to copy this color, and then I'm going to just use the square brackets, so you can add your customizable colors values inside the square bracket, right? Save this thing, save, and now I'm going to give it a background color of white, that is has textable app. Save this thing, yeah, and I'm going to give, we can say, a padding of, let's say, py of 1 and px of 5, right? And I can give it a rounded shape, so I'm going to write here rounded, just like that. And I can write here font dash 600, looks clean and great, right? And I can add, let's see, I can also add a hover effect to this. So right here hover, and I want the bg to be black, and not white, it should be black, that is 000, and I want the text color to be white, just like this. And I'm going to add a transition of colors. Save this much of thing. Now let's see, and you can see this thing looks pretty much beautiful, right? Okay, now at this point I'm going to, you can say, I can just pop up, you can say, an image, or you can say I can just add, you can say, a form. Let's create a form right here at this point, right? So just go to the index.js, and what I'm going to do is I want to create, you can say, go to the pages folder and create a new file and name it as login.js, right here, RAFCE, like this. And at this point, if I write here slash login, I don't have to write here slash login. One thing we can do is go to the navbar.jsx at this point, close this thing, and where is the sign in, and I can just command X. I can use a link tag at this point, then L should be capital, href, and I want the href to be I want it to be, let's say it is slash login, simply. And inside this I'm going to paste this button, right? Save this much of thing. Now if I click on this, you can see this login at this point, right? Now open the login.js, and we're going to create, you can say, a form at this point. So I'm going to give it a class w-full and min-h-screen, save. And what I want is, I want display flags, or no display flags, not display. I'm going to create another div inside this, so simple div. So I have to change this to React again, and this div tag, and inside this I'm going to create another div, and it's going to have, you can say, a label, and it will be let's say email, simply, and it's going to write here email, just like this. And I'm going to create an input tag, type will be text, and not text, it should be email, right? And I want, you can say, I can add I have the email, I have this thing. So what thing I can add is I can add a name. Name should be email. I can add a ID to this of email also. Save this thing, and you're going to find, you can say, input tag at this point. So I'm going to give it a class to the level first. So class, it will be block. So I'm going to make it as block so that you can see now the input tag is at this point. Right now it is taking the full width. Okay, now come to this div, give it a class, and I want its width for MD, so that I'm just trying to making it as responsive. So I'm just adding a breakpoint. So MD, I want width of, let's say, 50%, and I want MX auto. Save things, and I want a border. Save, and I want a shadow also. Save this much of thing, right? And let's say I want also some padding of 10, just like this, right? And also some margin from top of 20. Yeah, looks great, right? Now I'm going to give some class to my input tag. So class name, so I want it simply right here, border. Save, and then I can just give it w-full, so it will take the full width. I can give it a py of 1, or let's say 2, and I can give it a px of 3. If I click on this, you can see this thing, and I can just give it a border color, border dash hyphen, just copy the color from the navigation bar. So right here, hashtag, paste it, save, and you can see the color. So it looks great, right? Now I want some spacing, between the label and the input. So I want right here, I can write here space y. So space y of, let's say, 3. Save this thing, looks great to me. And again, I can add, you can say, text dash XL to the, you can say, to the level, and font dash 600. So it looks great, right? Or instead of the label, I can simply write here an h1 tag, and I can write here enter your email, just like this. Save this thing, and I can just give it a class text dash center. Save, and I want text dash 3xl, and I want, you can say, font dash extra bold. Save it, looks great. And I can just add a span tag, and inside the span tag I can write this email, and I can just give it a class of text dash, and I can just copy this color and paste it at this point. Save this thing, and you can see this. So it looks pretty much decent. And I can say I want a placeholder at this point. So placeholder, and right here example@example.com, just like this. Save this much of thing, right? And I can just, you can say, come to this class, and then I can add a class of rounded dash md. Save this thing, looks great. And after this, I can just create another div at this point. So I'm right here, div, and I can add a button to at this point, and I can write here submit, or I can write here simply sign in. Save, and I can just come to this div, and I can add space y of 10, let's say. Looks great. Or I can make it as simply 5. 5 is, let's say, 7. 7 is good. Now come to the button, and I can just give it a class, and I can write here the class name, let's say w-full. So it will just come to center, bg dash hashtag. I can just paste this color, and I can write here text dash white. Okay, it is text. Okay, it should be inside the class text dash white. Save this thing, and you can say add a padding. So let's say py of 2. Looks great. And I can add a rounded button, so rounded md, and it looks great. So I can add in the rounded to my, you can say, to this div. So I can write here rounded md. Save this much of thing, and this looks great, right? So you can just enter, you can say your email and can sign in, right? So this is how it's going to look. Now let's create, you can say, our front end part, that is the index.js part. So here I'm going to display all the blocks. So go to the index.js, right here in h1 tag, and I want to write here that is, okay, not create, I want to write here all blog posts. Save this much of thing, give it a class, and I can write here text dash center. I can write here p dash 5. I can write here md text dash 2xl, and let's make it as 4xl, and I want font dash 600. Looks great, right? And after this I can create another div, and inside this I can just pass the cards. So just go to the, you can say, to this section, that is to the components, and inside this I'm going to create, you can say, a new file and naming it as card.jsx. Hit enter, right here rafce. So it is basically I'm using the React components. Now just go to the index part, and at this point right here card, just like this. Save this thing, and you're going to find this card at this point, right? Now open this card, just minimize this and remove this thing. At this point I'm going to write here giving it a class. Okay, it should be class, this class name, and I want md dash w dash 400 pixels. So just like this, I can make it as 400 pixels. Then I want some height of, let's say 600 pixels. And I want some border, so it's going to be simply border, and then I'm going to need a shadow of md. Save this thing, and you're going to find this. So I can reduce, you can say, its height to 500 pixels. Let's say 4, not 4, make it as 500, let's say. Okay, now so it is done, and one thing we can do is I need some margin, so right here m-5, so it's going to look like this, right? Now go to the index.js part, and to this div I'm going to give it a class name of px-10 on md. Save this much of thing, right? And go to the card part, and I can just give it a w dash full, right? So let's see if I'm writing inspect. Click on this inspect, click on this, and okay, so it looks like this. So I can make it as 90%, and it's going to look like this. So it looks clean, right? 90%, and I can reduce its height, let's say, to 450 pixels. Yeah, now it looks good, right? So in this way it looks great, right? Now just close this thing. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an h1 element, right? And I'm going to give it a class of text dash xl and font dash 600, right? And then let's say I'm writing here I'm writing here next.js, saving this, and let's say I'm writing here Next.js course. Save this thing, and I want it to be capitalized, so place this thing, and looks great. Okay, now I can give it some padding of p-5. Looks great. And I want to place an image, so I can create a div, and I'm not going to use the img tag, right? Instead of using this img tag, I'm going to use the image, the image that is the image of Next.js, right? This is the image component, you can say, type of thing. So right here, image, just remove this thing. It's a self-closing tag, and import it is image from next image, just like this. Now we're going to have to pass the source to this, so it will have something, and then we have to pass the width of, let's say, 100, and the height of, let's say, it is also 100. Save this thing. Now I need an image, so let's open an image of Next.js. So search for Next.js image, something just like this. Click on these images. Let's say I'm downloading this image. Click on open image in new tab, and I'm going to save this image. So save image as, and let's open up desktop and just find the Next.js course. So let's see, I'm searching for, not here, I'm searching for Next.js course. So where is it? Where it is? Here it is. Inside the blog we have public, and inside this public folder I'm going to save that image, right? Close these things, and you can find the image inside the public. You can say download.png. So let me just rename it, and I'm going to write here img1. Let's see. Now at this point I can just write here slash img1 dot, I hope so it is png. Yeah, it is png. So png, save, and you can find this thing. So I want to give it a width of 100%, so I can write here, that is layout, and I want the layout to be, you can say, filled. So I'm going to take up everything. So let's say I want it to be fixed, then I have responsive. Click on responsive, and it is coming just like this. So I'm going to give it the class to this thing, so I can write here class of, let's say I'm giving it a height h dash, let's say 10 vh. Save this thing. It is quite high, let's say of 2 vh, and I want overflow should be hidden. Yeah, now I can make it as 5, let's say 20. Looks great to me. So one thing we can do is we can just you can say reduce its height to, let's say, 50. Save it just like that, and I can increase, you can say, the height of this to, let's say, 30 vh, right? And I can give it increase the height to, let's say, 60, let's say 70. Okay, just remove this thing. 70. Yeah, now it looks nice, right? Okay, now after this h1 tag, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write here a paragraph tag, p tag, and here I'm going to write here lorem, let's say 20. Save it just like that, and we don't need any type of button, I hope so. So it looks pretty much decent, right? We don't have to, you can say, make more designs to this. So it is pretty much perfect, right? Now go to the index.js, and I can put this card inside a link tag, or I can just go to the card and I can put this div inside a link tag. So right here, link, and I want next/link, and then I want the href. It's going to be, for right now, it is slash, and paste these things. right? Just like this. Save this much of thing. Now I can just add a cursor of pointer to this. So cursor, pointer, save this much of thing, and you can see this thing. And I want some hover effect, so let's say hover. I want to scale it to, let's say, 1.1, and I want a transition of all. Save this much of thing. Now let's see, and you can see this thing looks great, right? Okay, now I can just copy this, not this, I can just go to index.js and JS, and I can copy this to 3 4 and save this thing, and you can see it is coming one by one. So I want it to be side by side, so I can add a class to this of flex. Save right here, flex dash wrap, just like this, and I can add justify center, and then I can write here not item center, simply. So this is what I wanted, right? So in this way we have just successfully created, you can say, our front end part. Now in the next video we are going to create, you can say, authentication system. So stay tuned to the channel. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and I will see you next time.